Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of IQI Canada Evening Talks. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ardavan. I'm the marketing coordinator for IQI Canada. It is a beautiful sunny evening outside for us. And with me today, now you've probably heard me blab about the Juwai packages for the past God knows how many weeks, but today we're doing a bit of a twist, and Dante here is going to be the one in the hot seat while I interview him for everything related to the developer packages and how Juwai IQI has established a form of solution to help them enrich their lives and their careers. Dante, I know it is very early in the morning for you. Good morning to you. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. I'm doing very well, Ardavan, and it's a real awesome, change to be sitting on the other side of the table. You know, it's always a pleasure, and especially if it's
Oh,
you to interviewing.
thank you. Thank you so much. So, Dante, are you ready to go?
Oh yes, always ready.
Awesome. So, for our first-time viewers, if we have any, do you want to tell us a little bit about Juwai and who we are, what exactly we stand for?
100%. So basically, what it is, Juwai is a company from China that came and also merged in with IQI recently in 2019 to bring two very powerful and very needed elements, which is the online marketing for real estate and the offline, and we bring it together to become one of the most powerful prop tech companies in Asia. So that being said, we also have the ability to list in 111 countries, and from these listings, yeah, it's like, and from these listings there are 198 countries which Asian buyers and people from ASEAN are constantly checking out these listings throughout. And in order for us to tap into this market, in order for us to tap into this China market with that outbound investments that are coming, we need to have a platform that is powerful enough to manage that. And Juwai IQI is that, because we have about 6 million property listings annually, and this is about $4 trillion of worth of properties that we do advertising of. you know and of course, if that's not it's like 5.5 million active users that we have on this platform. And this is not 5.5 million viewers. This is actual active users that are constantly engaging with the platform, listing, looking for listings, and so much more.
That's outstanding. Well, I was just, going to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about Juwai's strengths? But I think you summed it up quite well. Do you have anything
Went
else?
straight for the strengths.
Oh, so Dante, like, there's been a whole, truckload of outbound investment, especially from China and the greater ASEAN. Why is it so important to capitalize on that investment as of now? What's going on?
Well, it's really important for us to jump on the wave and surf on that like cowabunga, because like this it is so much outbound investment, and it's like going up really hardcore, because like we started with 5 billion in 2010 outbound investments for 5 billion, and then it soared up to basically 37 billion in 2013, and it kept going up. It kept going up until 2018. We had about 129 billion dollars of investment coming out of China, and we were like, okay, we need to capitalize on this, we need to get in on this, and we did. And it literally got us to the top of the list in most other categories.
Right. Well, that's not a steady climb as you would expect in the financial industry. That's
No.
wow.
Exactly. Just like how I went for the strengths like really fast, like that. I think that, I guess that's our culture. Like we just like pop bam and we're in.
You waste no time, do.
Exactly. I mean, you gotta. It's well, because real estate industry is like an industry with a very awesome asset, and it's like very lucrative in certain aspects, especially when you have like investments and stuff going on from like outbound to inbound. And I think for a fact, if we need to capitalize on anything like that, we need to always be ready. And the good thing about us is that we have the studies, the research, and everything that is needed for us to be able to like tackle certain markets like this.
Oh wow. So, well, according to your research, like, what is really prompting all this investment? Do we know?
Well, yeah, I mean, like the four most, important elements and categories for these outbound investments are basically education, lifestyle, immigration, and of course, investment.
Right.
Which we do have a lot of inbound from that one as well.
Hmm. So where does Juwai come in? Like, why would we say that we need Juwai to have all these listings available to these investors?
Well, I mean, it's quite important because for first starters, we need to realize that a lot of these investors are coming from China. And there is what we call the Great Firewall of China, not to be mistaken with the Great Wall of China.
First of
So
all,
yeah, exactly. So, but what it is that Western media, or in terms of social media in the Western side, when you're outside of China, is unable to reach into China itself. So the social media and a lot of other platforms that they use are not the same as what we use. Their Google is Baidu, their eBay is like Taobao or like JD.com or something like
right.
that. So it's very different inside. But the good thing is that that's the reason we have the Juwai platform. It's because of these types of elements that we have, or the ability to have a presence in those kind of medias that we actually pride ourselves for having both in and outside of the firewall. So we have both Asian media and also Western media, sorry, Chinese media and also Western media, in our hand.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So, can you tell me a little bit about how much of a presence July has, especially with
Oh,
regard to
100%. I
how
would
do you
love to
rank
mention that.
them?
So, in terms of number of pages that are indexed into Baidu, I just want to tell you that the accumulation of every other page that is similar to us is about 2.8 million. Now, that's a
Okay.
lot of numbers, but at the same time, only our number of paged indexes and index pages are 37 million. So the
What?
accumulation of every other page is 2.8, and we are 37
Wow.
million. Yeah.
Well,
So that is just one thing, and then we have the other one, which is basically our ranking. So as you know, like basically we the ranking starts for 5 being the highest, and then
right.
4 to lowest. So we are number 5 in terms of the ranking that we have for our category, but every other website or every other platform starts from number 4 and goes below. So we are currently only number 5 in our category. Yep. I know, right? It's
Amazing.
amazing.
Well, I'd love to, talk to you a little bit about the packages that we have for developers themselves. So, can you tell me, like, what is this IQI, Juwai IQI developer solution? Like, what are we talking about?
So the best thing about it is that you can add and manage your listings, and of course that's something that is similar with the Asia package as well. But at the same time, you have your own company and individual profile, and
Okay.
of course you have like insights and in terms of trends and reports that are happening. You have a resource center with China news and everything that you need to download. You have a affiliate program, and I'm happy to say that at the moment that one of the top inquired countries that we have in our listings between the top 20 is Canada, placing at number 4. Number 4 is still quite an awesome ranking because you're already in the top 5,
Right.
so
Things are
and of
better
course,
than baby steps.
yeah, exactly. And and we also do have another thing, which is basically, enhancement product. So aside from the property listings that we do offer, to people, we have these enhancement product, which we'll get into, which allow you to not only increase where your, listings are currently at, but also to be able to reach a lot of, other people, and to just to let you know that the developer package tends to have a higher level of power in terms of placing your listing higher in the categories.
Okay. Well, you mentioned this word, the power of developer packages, and I just wanted to touch a little bit more about that. Like, can you tell us a bit about the features of these developer packages, like some of the common features?
Oh yes, yes. Wait. Okay. So basically, there's certain parts that they're common between all the packages, and that is basically you get a Chinese translation of your, property description and key features that you might have, and of course, you also have like up to one video and 20 photos, and also 20 floor plans for each development, and at the same time, you have a full integration into both Chinese and Western social media. So in these are like professional digital marketers and copywriters that are sitting down and making sure that your post is reaching every single aspect of like both Western and Chinese social media. And of course, you have local area mapping of all of them. You have currency metrics which are completely up to date with the current market. They're not something that we just like put up there like here's the currency exchange for 5 days is the same. It's because
Google
we
searches it.
yeah, exactly. You just go out there, it's like, oh, it's 4.4 still, but everywhere else it's like 4.1. And we
Yeah.
understand that it is superbly important for anybody purchasing properties to know the exact currency. So we make sure that it's always like, this correct rate, especially for foreign, purchases. And of course, we also have like, prominent logo, branding, and all your contact details. You also have, a list of your listings appear not only in Juwai.com. This is the cool part. Your listings don't only appear in Juwai.com. They also appear in Juwai.asia. So Juwai.com is, covered in China. It can be accessed, outside as well, but Juwai.asia also powers up in terms of like, the Western side of, things. And you if that wasn't enough, you also have like a call to action, which is your inquiry form right down there. And like, you if anybody has any questions about your property or your company or yourself, they can jump in and just put their initials and just like they'll contact you.
Wow. And
And one last part that I really want to
found it.
mention, so that we understand, of course, like a lot of the times, like you tend to get a lot of uh, of course leads, but hi Yusuf, how's it going? You tend to get a lot of leads, but most of them are not hot leads. There might be cold leads, there might be like leads that are just like inquiries and things like that. And of course sometimes your leads are gonna, yeah, and then sometimes your leads are going to be like not in English, right? So what are you going to do,
What are
right? Exactly. So we have a full on Asian consumer care team waiting at all times, turning out, making sure the leads are hot, sizzling hot, I might add. And of course, making sure that these leads are like, covering what is, needed from your listing, not, something else.
Oh, awesome. You hear that, guys? There are only hot leads being provided to you. That is wonderful because, like, trust me, I know what it's like to go through a list of 5,000 names on a and try to filter the hot from the cold. So the fact that you're only giving people the hot leads, wow, that's amazing. And I'm
I have
sure.
Katy Perry playing in my head now.
Dante, there's this talk about when we talk about the boosters that Juwai IQI gives for its developer packages, um, they have certain like enhancement products. Can you talk to me a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
about
Oh, those are hot. Like, those are quite awesome. So, basically, the enhancement products, we have certain, like, banners that we have for use to start with that. We have the King Slider, which is a huge banner in the, forefront of like the homepage. So, if you have that, everyone's going to be clicking on that, you know. And then, of course, right down there on the main page, we have July recommendations, which is like a list of tiny, tiny properties that, like, is our Juwai's own recommendations for you. So, a lot of these, like, Chinese investors and people that are getting onto the Juwai website, they basically know that, these recommendations are very important and they do value these recommendations that are given. So it's very, very awesome enhancement package because a lot of people do click on it, and then of course we have the country listing pages. So you have the main page and then you can just click on your own country if you want to find a listing in your country, and it'll take you to that. And so basically every listing in that area will be from, for example, Canada, right? So in there you have the super leaderboard, which is right up on top of the page, and then you have the hot leads, which are kind of like what you would say like a Google ad, when you search, and then you have those three ads like in the beginning of every search, so that's kind of your hot properties, right?
It-
So, and then strip banners are basically like, what comes in between these listings. So every 5 listing that you might have, there might be, basically another one and another one and another one. So you can actually do that as well. And let's see what we have. Okay, so we also have the Chinese advertorials, because as you know, our Chinese investors tend to like, do their research really well. They want to make sure that they're doing the right investment. You're doing a foreign investment, right? So you really want to know. Exactly. So like these Chinese advertorials are really cool because they turn anything that in the sort of information that you want to provide to the these investors into Chinese and also English for people to like be able to read. And of course you have, like I mentioned, like your monthly social media promotions, and they're not just like basically in China itself. They're outside in Western media as well. They have Weibo, WeChat,
right.
Facebook, everything that you might think of. We have it. And last but not least, we also have something else, which is basically the prosperity home report, which is essentially the feng shui for one of your floor plans. So it could be more if you'd like to have more, but at the same time, this allows. It's very important for Chinese investors, to know how well the feng shui is, and at the same time, it's also important for a lot of us now. So.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, like basically a lot of investors in Asia, or like even like, in Western side of like, the country, like in the world, we
And
do
yeah,
have a lot of people are trying to like, increase the feng shui in their house, whether it's like, for positivity and so on and so forth. So that does play a big role in the investment that they have. So it's good to have that as a, booster in your package, basically.
I mean, I know what feng shui is because my mom's like a really big advocate, so she's always telling me to
Nice.
make sure that your head is not facing north when you sleep, or don't make sure that your reflection is not the first thing you see when you wake up or something. But for those who may
I
not
gotta
necessarily
do
know
that
what
too.
feng shui is, do you want to just elaborate on the word? Like, what is feng shui?
Basically, for what I would say, like, it's in a way the placement of different objects in your house, or like, the architecture of how things are working, or how it's even to the point of how a corner is made, whether it's like, turned into a complete sharp corner, or like, it's kind of like a circular motion. It's kind of like what I would think, like, I don't know per se how exactly to explain it, but because I'm not a feng shui master, but it is the flow of good energy, and to make sure that there's good energy coming into your house, and like positive energy, and not basically anything bad negativity, or like a stuck bit of like negative energy inside your house. So certain things and certain elements tend to like really change that up, and that's basically why it's important to have it for most investors. And also, I need to check if I'm facing north or not.
I want to make sure that there's only good energy entering my house and whatnot. I should look into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I should look at the minute you said like your head shouldn't face the north. I'm like,
Well,
is it
don't
north?
quote me on that now.
Okay, sure.
But I know that there is some like ideal direction that your head should or should not be facing when you sleep. But
Okay.
I'm in the same boat with you. I'm not a feng shui master by any means, and I don't pretend to know anything about the subject. But I do know that so many people are, riding on it and do take it to heart. So if if this is something that works for our investors, it works for our
It's a
investors.
plus. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like a plus. Like you got a really nice investment, you got a really nice house. Made as well, make sure that the flow of energy is coming well into it as well.
Absolutely. Now, there was some news circling around about something called Juwai TV, and it sounded very
Ooh.
Netflixy to me. Um,
So
can you tell me a
it's
little bit
actually really cool, actually. Like, so I'm glad you asked. Like, so Juwai's online events, it's called the Juwai Online Event Solution, which is Juwai TV. It goes live on Facebook, WeChat, their own, basically their own landing pages as well. So what it is, it's like a chit chat style. So it's kind of
about
like a talk show chit chat style, basically. And then there's a few things that they have. Is like virtual on site of like the property that are going to be showing, and then also they play like short videos of like the development or property that is being featured as well. well. So there's, of course, there's two types of it. There's like, a joint one and an exclusive one, which I'll get to into that in a bit. But most of the programs are between 60 to 90 minutes, which is quite a good, portion of time. And then they have hot topics, which cover basically topics in that area, like, anything that's happening like in the area in terms of like, any amenities and like structures or features or like facilities that are in those areas, important stuff about the country, basically, that you're and we're going to be investing in. And then they have a second segment, which we show the projects and services. So basically the project itself, everything that it offers, and basically the prices and so on and so forth, and of course it's a live broadcast. So at the same time, being of a live broadcast, I love that we always put online and offline together.
Yep.
So it will be available for you to like watch later on as well. And in terms of 4 weeks, so you can actually like be know that it'll be remaining there for quite some time as a podcast video as well. And I gotta say, we do get a lot of leads during the show, but after the show as well, we do get a lot of leads. Because people, of course, they want to watch. Sometimes they want to watch things on their
Right.
own time, so that makes sense. And we do start marketing and pushing this, show prior to the show itself, like maybe 4 weeks before the show begins, just to have enough traction, to be able to find more leads among people that might be interested in this kind of like these assets. And I wanted to give you a basically like a case study as well from Australia that we had, and in that case we had about the same session. It was a joint session between two different projects that we had, and among that we had 140 leads within the first 30 minutes of the show, which is insane, and five of them immediately signed after into a contract like very very shortly afterwards, and then the leads continue to like soar up and continue to become more and more.
Wow. 140 leads in the first 30 minutes. That's amazing.
It is, and the good thing is, like even if you are doing the joint or exclusive, the joint one would basically be either like you have two different projects that you want to feature, or you are a developer that one developer and another developer are going to be coming into a program, and then they're gonna. But the good thing is, if someone is inquiring about your project or a specific project that you're handling, you will be given that lead. All right. So you don't have to worry about, your leads going missing between the two of you. So, because our care guide, our care line is very efficient. They are always like make sure that we send the leads to the right place. But exclusive, of course, it's better. It's just the whole show is yours.
Uh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. You're basically sharing screen time, if not between two projects, then between two developers.
Exactly. So
Okay.
exclusive would be just you, your own project, and you yourself and you.
Yourself and you. Brilliantly said.
Exactly.
Well, Dante, I think one of the more pressing questions that everyone will have is, what damage is this going to do to everyone's wallet? So, do you want to give us a brief rundown and maybe not scare
Sure.
us away?
Oh no, don't worry about it. The good thing is like, from what you are getting in terms of like the incoming basically investment and like people like just basically coming and catching up on your property and things like that, it is really 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 worth it, because like I'm just going to tell you guys about the Live Pro. Of course, we have a developer basic package, which is about for 6 months, and it's about $6,000. We have another one, which is the Live Basic, which is $8,000 for 6 months. And of course, the Live Pro that I'm going to let you guys know about it is about for 1 year, and it's for $15,000. But of course, at the same time, you have to remember we do in these packages we do offer already given enhancement product, but of course there is customized packages as well. So as a developer, if you find that there is something that you want to add, remove, or completely like customize and create your own package, we're more than happy to do that. And basically like because we understand sometimes certain things that okay, look, for example, I don't want a king slider. I
Right.
know there's my demographic is going to be like going into the country page and looking into it. So instead of a king slider, I might put like two other enhancement products, or like I'll get a one king slider by just like exchanging two other products. So it's, you can do that, and then, or like, add on to it. But let's just cover of like, what you're basically going to get like in, if you get the Live Pro package. So aside from your developer listing, which you get for 12 months, you get your Chinese company profile again for a year. You can get a number of listings, which is like, but of course, you start with one listing, but for every other listing that you would like to add, it's just like a simple $1,000, which is nothing for like, a developer in that case. And the amount of like soaring investment that is coming in for you, you probably make that within a minute, you know. And of course, like, you have the top developer, which is basically a portion of the main page, which shows you as the top 10 developers that are out there. This is on the main page, and it's very important because when people go up there, the first thing they're going to see in terms of which developer is really, really, on the top, they'll see you. So that's very important. You get to have that for 3 months, right?
Cool.
That's huge. So you also have top property for 4 weeks. You have Juwai's recommendation, which I told you guys about, which is on the bottom of the homepage for all of the 12 months. You have, right? It's
Right.
crazy. So it basically, and also you will get the hot property for 6 months. You will get a king slider for 2 months, a super leaderboard for 2 months, and of course, a one piece of advertorial, one post in social media, which you can increase based on your requirement. And of course, you get a prosperity home for one floor. I mean, yeah, what else do you want, right? But if
Right.
that's not enough, you also get Juwai Live TV, not just for exclusive, but also for joint, both of them given to you.
You know what? I'm
For-
no like financial analyst, but I think I know good value for money when I see it. And
Because thank you, man. And but because the most important part is that you have to also check out, like, what advertising agencies would cost you
right,
if you basically go to them to do the same kind of like promotions and things like that. 15,000 is chump change for
yeah,
an ad. You get a live show, you get live presence on online, and both China and also the Western media, and at the same time, so much more. So if it really isn't much, and of course, if you think it isn't much, and you want to add in more to just like make sure that every unit in your development gets sold, come and let us know. And you can let us know what kind of a custom package you'd like to acquire. And of course, there is right there the contacts and everything, the details that you would like to feature, and like contact us through. And of course, are the one on wait the other side, yeah, are the one on the other side will also be like able to assist you on that for sure.
absolutely. Well, thank you for answering my last question. If anyone wanted to get in touch with anyone about the developer packages, where would they go? Well, Dante, it's all right there in the banner below. The number is 905-564-0188 or 647-669-9222, or send us an email at ardavan@juwaiiqi.com. Dante and I would be more than happy to answer
Ooh,
any questions you may have. Dante, it has been an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you so much for taking the time to
pleasure
be
is
with
mine.
us.
Thank you.
Do you have any words of closing before we have to take a break?
Of course, and I would like to thank everybody as well, and yourself. Thank you so much for having me, and of course, putting me on the other side of the table, because it's always nice to like be interviewed, instead of being the interviewer. And of course, I wanted to tell everybody, like, I hope you have a really, really awesome week. Never give up on anything that you're doing, and always remember, your comfort zone is not there to comfort you. It's going to get into in front of you and block you at some point. So make sure you break that with a sledgehammer, get out and do what you got to do.
Having said that, Dante, I should have mentioned at the beginning, and I'm sorry I didn't really give you a formal introduction. As you guys probably realize by now, Dante is an absolutely phenomenal motivational speaker. He does this every single Thursday
Mhm.
live on Facebook from Malaysia. You should totally check him out. He is the executive assistant to the CEO of IQI Global, Kashif Ansari himself. There's very few
Hi,
people
Kasha.
higher than higher than Dante in that sense. And apart from, being the eyes, nose, and ears of IQI and everything that happens, he is also Dante of Dante's Jungle. If you ever want to know anything about a snake or a skink, he is your guy. Check him out on YouTube, check him out on Facebook, and I'm sure he would absolutely love the support. But until then, tune in next week where we're going to talk about Juwai IQI agent packages once more, but with a bit of a twist, maybe even audience participation. So if you want to know exactly what's going to go down, make sure you tune in. But until then, thank you very much for your audience, for being with us today, and we will see you next week. Until then.
Thank you so much. And thanks for the plug-in.
Awesome. Thank you.